What's going on, everybody? We back. Another trade recap, and let's get right into it. Nothing to really talk about. Let's go. So we're on the Dow Jones right up in here. We can see prices reacting off of this 4-hour supply up in here, and yeah, just a little high time frame read. Let's go to the Nasdaq real quick. We can see prices kind of in the middle of nowhere on the higher time frame. It's not really within a higher time frame POI, so just keep that in mind. Don't force any POIs. I'm not going to mark this out and then be like, that might be a POI. If it's not clear, leave it. Don't force anything. Don't force yourself to see things that aren't there. All right, let's go to the Dow once again. Move down in the hourly. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit to times it. 8. Okay, 8. Hourly, what can we see? We'll move down actually to the 15-minute. We could see price tapped into this 4-hour zone. And then what did it do? A little bit of a buildup, swept all this liquidity, all this demand, all these buyers got taken out, bearish break, and we had a supply zone that left behind up here. So this was my area of interest for the Dow, honestly. So I wanted to see if price came in here today's session, what would it do? Now let's see what the Nasdaq is up to. Nasdaq has swept this low of this demand. This was a low that led to this high. This zone got swept. It's a beautiful SMC trap. You can see this got swept. Price came down, formed a demand, formed a bullish break. So I was interested in looking for buys from here. However, I know I need to wait for lower time frame confirmations. So that's what I did. So let's stay on the Nasdaq for now because this was my first trade. We're in this demand zone. What can I see? Let's just skip through. Price is moving. Let's see when my session starts. Right there. 9:30 a.m. What can I see price do? Price gave a little bullish push and then came all the way down. Came down. What did it do? Swept this zone right here. Swept these lows. Now let's pause for a second. What can I see? This demand zone just got wicked out, barely. And that had me thinking that this was probably a SMC trap as well. There was 2 sweeps. So the market's really trying to shake out any early buyers. So that was also a trap. So there was 2 traps that were made here, which is kind of ridiculous, but that's what happened. So this had me confident that if we get a break above these highs, I was going to look to enter, given that price had a trap form right here and it swept. So let's move and see what happens. Boom, we got the break. This was my entry right here. As you can see, unmitigated demand zone right here. And I included the imbalance up here. That was my entry up in there. Boom. Boom. And a couple of ticks for spreads. All right. So that was my trade. Initially, I did target the Tokyo highs, which is a valid take profit. But I understand that 3R is what I have to target to stay within the bounds of my rules. So I targeted 3R for this trade, which was somewhere, I think I took profit around these highs right there. About 3R. So this was my entry. This was the trade setup. It looks good, right? Everything looked good. Now, when this candle came through, I low-key panicked right here, this one. Because this was a massive bearish candle. All my trade requirements were set though. So even though I did feel panic, I still held the trade because I knew there's no need for me to panic. It's just emotion. There's no logical reason for me to panic. So I held it through. And what time was that? 9:40 a.m. We got tapped in. Now let's play this trade through. Consolidation, consolidation. Times like this, you just have to be patient. Boom. This was the first major break. We broke higher right in here. And what did I do once we got this break? I moved my stop loss to right there. That was my new stop loss placement. To minimize risk while also respecting that price could come down into this demand zone, mitigate it, and continue higher. Let's see what price continues to do. Came down into the demand. Consolidated a bit more. Consolidation. Boom. Another break. Price was moving slow, but I don't mind because it was moving in my direction. Bullish break. So now, once we got the second break, stop loss was at break even. Risk was taken off the trade. And price was pretty close to my take profit. Let's see. Came down a little bit. Just held it. No need to panic and sell. There we go. Just like that, we hit a nice 3R trade. Now, if we fast forward, price did end up hitting Tokyo highs, Asian session highs, but 3R, come on. I'm here for longevity. I'm not here to maximize for today's session. I'm here to maximize over a series of trades over the long term. So we took profit at 3R right here. Okay, boom. Now, I shifted my focus to the Dow. Okay, boom. What could we see in the Dow? So let's just backtrack a little bit. Price came in here, broke structure, extremely massive bullish candles, came down, made a little retracement, broke structure again, left behind an obvious level of demand right here. So as you can see, how many touches were there of this demand? 1, 2, 3, 4 touches of this demand zone. Price was on the higher time frame. One second. On the higher time frame, it tapped into a supply zone. So there's a little bit of a conflict here. The higher time frame is showing that price is ready to move bearish. The lower time frame on the 1 minute is still respecting this demand zone. So given that price was tapping in, it looked like it was generating orders from this demand zone. I was looking for shorts. Boom. This was my supply zone up in here. So from up in here, that was my supply zone. And that was my first entry right there. That 1 minute zone. Now from here. Alright, we're back. Little technical difficulty right there. Alright, this was my first entry, this supply zone up in here. So, actually no, it wasn't that supply zone. I took it from up in here. So we had this sweep of liquidity. My entry was somewhere around here, and I targeted about 3R. That was my target. Why? Because I expected this zone to fail, given that we were at a higher time frame supply. Price was generating liquidity. We had a sweep. Everything was looking good. Entered from this decisional. However, I also kept in mind that there was an extreme zone right above it. Just something to keep in mind. So what happened? Price gave a little reaction, came up, stopped me out. Hit a stop loss on the second trade. So once price hit stop loss on this one, it came up, mitigated this extreme supply zone. And what can I see? I saw some bearish movement. Boom, boom, bearish movement. I entered this trade from right there, covered the highs, had about 3RR right up in there. And then from here, price tapped me in. Actually, I lied. I had targets right there. So the reason for the small targets on this trade was I was looking to hit 1K on the day, given I already won the trade before. Looking to pass my evals. So I just wanted 1K. Otherwise, I could have held for 3R. Because as you can see, what would happen if I held for 3R? Price would have went down, hit take profit. So this was an excellent read on the market to understand just because there's a lower time frame demand doesn't mean it's going to hold. You have to read the higher time frame narrative. You understand? All these touches, what were they? They weren't just price gearing up for a huge bullish move. They were gearing up to sweep the early buyers. That's all that was. So yeah, summary of the day. Win on the NASDAQ. First loss on the Dow. Win on the Dow. So I was up about 4.5R for the day. And that's the session. Peace.